All right, moving right down the list, 90 to 81. Things are definitely starting to look up now that we've gotten the worst songs out of the way. I can't say any of these are particularly great, but at least they're all listenable, which is more than can be said about the ones from the previous installment. Anyway, there are a few controversial choices here, so hear me out before you viciously disagree. Honestly, I can't wait till the next installment when we get to the songs I actually go out of my way to listen to instead of avoid, like a few here and before this one. Honestly, the spot's mostly dedicated to getting rid of those joke songs, some of those more bland and forgettable ones. So, without further ado, here we go 90 to 81.
90. Disaster. I'll mention later how songs on the EP were improvements in neighborhoods, but this is the exact opposite. Although it is amusing when song titles describe the song, this one has no amusement value beyond that. Like When I Was Young, there's a pointless intro, but unlike that one, there's nothing redeeming to follow. It's an epic holiday ripoff with Mark saying disaster with absolutely no emotion. It tries to combine Angel's and Airwaves with Blink-182 sound, but there's no harmony among the two. Tom's influence completely dominates the song. It's so sad hearing Mark's defeated voice trying to take back control of it, but then Tom comes in and uses one of his recycled melodies that we've heard in Everything's Magic and numerous other AVA songs. It'd be kind of upsetting if this was actually the last song they made as a band. It's easily the worst on the EP and one of the laziest, most recycled, boring songs they've ever done. 89. A New Hope. I suppose it's kind of a bonus track, but it's still one of the worst songs on Dude Ranch. Admittedly, I don't really love Star Wars. I've seen the movies, they're alright certainly, and I understand a lot of the references, but I don't consider myself a fan in the sense that I want to listen to music about it and then buy Boba Fett slippers. So if you're like me and not really that big of a Star Wars fan, then you're probably not going to enjoy a song because all it is a bunch of continual and pointless Star Wars references. I believe this is Mark's equivalent to Aliens Exist and just something he wanted to write as a tribute to Star Wars because he's a huge fan, but it's not nearly as good as Aliens. However, I do like the Every Night I Fall Asleep with You and I Wake Up Alone line, but that's not really enough to redeem it as a quality track. 88. The Country Song. This is without a doubt my favorite country song, except for maybe On the Road Again. Though being a great country song still placed it pretty low on the music quality spectrum, being it belongs to that genre, but in all seriousness, there's rap, then country, and then pop punk at the very bottom. Kidding, but actually if you think about it, the song's kind of a parody on the genre and culture. The absurd, incestuous ideas reflect the negative stereotypes associated with the South. It's a tolerable joke song. Each listen it loses a little bit of zeal, but I think it's fascinating when bands attempt to explore other genres like they did with that Jan and Dean cover. And the South Park line at the end is kind of stupid and tacked on, but aside from that, it's a music track to hear live, as a break from the slightly more serious nature of their other hits. 87. Family Reunion. This song opens with the quote, "Here's a song I wrote with no help from anyone." Well, except for taking the words from George Carlin, adding some pop punk music, and then throwing in an insulting comment about fornicating with our moms. I suppose this is the Blink-182 national anthem. It could be seen as their most pointless song, but in a way, it does a good job introducing them as a band. It's a little catchy, but I personally avoid singing it in public. It's an absolute joke of a song, so there's no real reason or point to criticize it. It does what it needs to, and what it needs to isn't that much. 86. Fuck a Dog. I never understood why this song was popular and mildly well known because it's just beyond childish and stupid. And I can imagine an argument supporting it like, oh, it's just funny, don't act like a concerned mom, but that's not the case at all. It's not funny or entertaining, or even that good of a song about bestiality, if there ever could be such a thing. Even when I was an immature teen, I found it to be unpleasant, and that clearly hasn't changed. Maybe it could have fit better on their first two records, but at this stage in their careers, it was just a weird and almost as if it was a sad attempt to stay young and teenage-like. Thank goodness it's an absolute fan favorite, because if I had my way, it would be next to last. And I guess I have to give the song some props to it for making an impact on so many people with its subject matter, but all in all, I don't see what's the good in it. 85. Blowjob. The song was written in 5 minutes, legitimately. They say that as a joke, but I have a hard time believing it to be false. It's the music from Untitled with lyrics about getting a BJ, so you have to understand I'd really have to stretch content that's not there to come up with any other interpretation besides it being about wanting a blowjob. That's all it is. A stupid little song about wanting to get that blowjob, preferably from a mother, and I do actually like the humorous little contribution at the end with the "from your mom" bit, totally classic. The song's hopelessly simple and immature, but it's amusing to hear live and provided some of the best jokes and banter among them. 84. Fentoozler. It took me a while to tolerate this song, and I still don't exactly enjoy it. It's nothing but a throwaway track from Cheshire Cat. What it does in trying to break down a girl's arrogance or rudeness fails miserably and is done far better in Toasted Bananas, which is on the same album. Lyrically, it's exactly like what you expect from the album. Musically, too. I suppose it does capture an angry tone well, but there's nothing about it that really warrants multiple listens. I will give it credit for using a unique vocab word, trite, and that's probably the most complex word they've ever used. It does have an interesting song title. I'm guessing it's a Dr. Seuss word for bitch. 83. Don't Tell Me It's Over. This song's like a poor man's version of Apple Shampoo and Damn It. It starts off the same as Apple Shampoo, and then uses an identical chord structure to Damn It. There's one great thing about this song, and the only thing that doesn't suck is Mark singing. Too bad he only sings 2 words, but man are those 2 words sung well. The other lyrics sound like they were written in 5 minutes. For example, I think things aren't too hopeful even with my expert knowledge. Most girls do mean trouble because they are rarely honest. Terrible. Absolutely terrible. Expert knowledge? Why? What the hell does that even mean? If they had any expert knowledge, this nonsense they're worrying about wouldn't even be a problem. Anyway, it's an idiotic song, but maybe expectations shouldn't be too high for a Rush bonus song. 82. Mother's Day. Mother's Day is absolutely brilliant and provides an extremely impressive and complex sociological explanation on the unexplored holiday. The verses that feature the graphic sexual actions are from the husband's perspective on the day, in that they are just the desire, the physical aspect of love, but that raw sexual experience has to be put aside because the wives now have duties as mothers. This is evident by the chorus with the pure and beautiful comment that it's Mother's Day. Or it could just be a pointless song where half is mindless swearing and the other half is an excuse to show off some nice vocal work. Who knows? 81. Life's So Boring. This title is so 90s. Anyway, it's an alright instrumental, but I think it would have helped astronomically if it had lyrics explaining why life is boring. Oh well, as an instrumental, it's beyond simple, but it perfectly reflects their style back then. It's an impressive feat for a band notable for their lyrics. I think most would pick up It's by them without having heard it before. It's enjoyable enough to listen to once in a while, and it's a quiet song with some decent nostalgia.
Okay, next time we'll pick up with number 80, as well as get our first Enema of the State song on the list. Subscribe, rate, like, share. We can only go up from here.